Shalom, Sanbona. My name is Mpumelelo. Welcome to this channel. If you are new to this channel, please consider to subscribe. Share this video with your friends and family if you like the content. Make your comments, nevertheless, if you don't agree with what I'm saying. As you might have read, the title of this video, this is what I want to talk about today. Are black people a cursed people? Is that a fact? Is that fiction? Is it something created by people, or is it biblical? My short answer to this question is yes or no. But before we get into that, when we talk about black people, who are we talking about? Perhaps we need to start there. Who are we talking about? Because we tend to use certain words to refer to people without really, I think we generalize and associate people with what we see. If the color of your skin or the pigment of your skin is dark, you're a black person. You're an African, or you are of African descent. But who are black people? When we talk about black people, who are we talking about? So that then we can make a distinction between those we think are being referred to in the Bible as a cursed nation and those who are not. In the Bible, or according to the Bible and according to our roots, there are two types of black people, perhaps three, and over a period of time, the other group has mutated. But there are three groups of people on earth. There are the Shemites, or those who are the descendants of Shem. There are the Hamites, those who are the descendants of Ham or Hem. And there are the Yaphites, those who are the descendants of Japhet. So the descendants of Japhet largely have mutated. And over a period of time, they have become white. They were black originally, but over a period of time, they have become white. That is a historical fact. The descendants of Ham are found, and the Bible says so, they are found in the northern parts of Africa. Ham had 4 children. Mitzrayim, which today is known as Egypt. Cush, which today is known as Ethiopia. But Cush, the land of Cush, stretched over or across northern Africa to southern Arabia. So some of the Arabs are the descendants of Ham. And then you have Phut and Canaan. So Phut is Libya, and Canaan is the Canaanites, those that we know as the Canaanites. Now, Ethiopians, or the Cushites, are black, just like anybody else. Ethiopians, Eritreans, and all those black people who occupy the lands along the Nile River, they are black in complexion, darker than me, some of them. They are descendants of Ham. And then there are those who are in the sub-Saharan region. They are black people also. They are also, they are not the descendants of Ham, the majority of them. Over a period of time, of course, they have intermarried and intermingled with other nations, but largely they are not the descendants of Ham. They are the descendants of Shem. And most of them were kidnapped and they were taken to America and the Caribbean as slaves. It is interesting when it comes to who are the children of Israel, or who are the Shemites. There's a squabble there. There's a squabble. And I am not going to argue against anyone who says he is or she is a descendant of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, in particular, the descendant of Shem. I'm not going to fight with anyone who says that. I think history will prove right or wrong. But that is not the question today. The question is, are black people a cursed nation or a cursed people? But then I said, who are black people? Initially, the sons of Noah, Shem, Ham, and Yafet, were all black, because all nations of the earth were black, and these were black. And we can go into the details of it. I'm just, running over this subject. It's broad. But what has happened? Why do people think that black people are cursed? It comes from the curse of Noah to what Ham did. But what is interesting of note is that Noah did not curse Ham. He cursed his fourth child, Canaan. So Canaan lived in the region which is now called Israel. And all the Canaanites were wiped out, largely. Some of them intermarried with the Israelites, and some with other nations. But there's no nation today that can claim that they are Canaanites, or they are are the descendants of Canaan. Largely, that nation was wiped out. What Ham is left with is Egypt, Ethiopia, Foot, and all, not some of the Arab nations, because some Arabs are the descendants of Abraham. So among Arabs, you have two nations. Some of them are descendants of Abraham. Some are descendants of Ham. Abraham is a descendant of Shem. Just like black people, some black people are descendants of Shem, and some are descendants of Ham. Interesting, isn't it? So, the Canaanites were the ones who were cursed by Noah, not even Ham. So the descendants of Ham, the Egyptians, the Ethiopians, and all other descendants of Ham were not cursed. Only Canaan was cursed. And Canaan does not exist today. If he does, he exists, he has been swallowed up by other nations, for lack of a better word. So, the Bible, a bone of contention here, Deuteronomy 28. In Deuteronomy 28, we see Moses addressing the children of Israel, just as they are about to cross the river Jordan and take over the promised land, which at that time was occupied by the children of Ham, the Canaanites. And as he addresses them, he tells them what will befall of them if they abandon the laws that God has given them. So Deuteronomy 28 talks about that. If you obey the laws, you will be blessed. If you do not obey the laws that God has given you, you will be cursed. And he lists the cursings. The cursings that he lists are more than the blessings. Now, I'm asking this question because for two reasons. One reason is that this has been historically distorted by those who want us to believe that black people are a curse. Some go to as far as saying that they are a seed of Satan. They were cursed, and therefore it is justified to have them colonized and enslaved. But it is not the case. It is not the case because, firstly, the person who is cursed, there are two groups of people who are cursed there in the Bible. Firstly, it's the Canaanites. They are cursed by Noah. As to whether that curse materialized, we can assume it did because Noah said they will serve Japheth and Shem, and they did. They were defeated in wars, and some were enslaved by the Israelites, and some intermarried into Israel and into other nations. And then there's this group that is cursed by God himself in the event that they don't obey his rules, his laws, his commandments. And who are those nations today? There's a bone of contention between the black people who are in the sub-Saharan region and in the Americas, in the United States of America and the Caribbean, who were taken in Africa and enslaved. I think this battle will take some time to be settled, because the Jews who are occupying the state of Israel today also claim to be the children of Israel. Like I said, time will tell. For me, time will tell. But there are those who have committed their words and said they are not the Israelites. They are not the Jews. They are imposters. Those are not my words. I'm saying that time will tell. Because it's complicated for me. And it should be complicated it's not as clear as anyone would want to believe. It's not even clear amongst those who call themselves the black people or the Bantu or Negro people group. It's not as clear as we may want to believe. But this is the subject that I want us to dwell on, because I want us to look at Africa and look at black people, especially in the so-called sub-Saharan region. Look at their livelihoods. Why are things the way they are? Can these problems be solved politically? Or is there something else that we need to do as a people? Even in the Americas, in the United States of America and in the Caribbean, look at the lives of black people. Look at the lives of black people. The majority of black people, especially male, are in and out of jail. And many are living in poverty-stricken areas. Their lives are not improving. They're stagnant. What is the problem? In the previous videos, I have been trying to introduce this subject slowly by saying, is there something wrong with the way we think? Is there something wrong with the way we do things? Why have we allowed and perpetuated this poverty even when we had power and the ability to change things? But things have remained the same and things have worsened. I want us in the next videos, please consider to follow this, to subscribe so that we are notified of the content that I will post, so that you follow this discussion and let's have a discussion around it. I'm concerned about the way we are divided. I'm concerned about our views which are just scattered. There's something we can do. I'm positive about it. Please consider to subscribe and share this video with your friends and family. Asante sana. Shalom.